Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Yo Nityamachyudapadam Bhujayugma Rukma Vyamo Hatastaditarani Tranaya Mene Asmadguroho Bhagavato Siddhaikasando Ramanujasya Charanam Sharanam Prapadhye. यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण द्वैतवासना प्रमुच्यते बोधात्मकाय नमस्तस्मै भगवते श्रीरमणमहर्षये हृदाकाशे सदा भान्तं शान्तमानन्दरूपिणं ज्ञानभाणमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं श्रीसत्यसायिनं ममन्तर्यामिणम् After a very long time, we've come back again here in Sydney to see everybody. The world went through some upheavals, so it's not just us, but everywhere, everyone. But finally, we're all fortunate and blessed to gather here this weekend, specifically to deliberate upon, do a mananam, shravanam, mananam on what is possibly the most profound philosophy in life. It's called Sharanagati. The Sanskritam word for it is Sharanagati. It's generally translated into English as surrender. Sharana, the refuge. Agati, to come into the refuge. Generally, we have a word called Agadi. Yeah, in Tamil, we use the word very often, Agadigal. Agati means Gati, destination. Agati, no destination. So those who are refugeless or refugees, we call them refugees, are those that do not have a specific destination, and therefore they are wandering around hoping and seeking somewhere to find that solace, find that refuge. But if you found that refuge, you're no longer agati. Yeah, you're sagati. Not only sagati, it is most likely sadgati. Sadgati, the ultimate destination, the most fortunate destination, the holiest destination that all of us have come here to reach. And how do we do so? And that is the philosophy, Sharanagati. That once we seek the refuge, then we are no longer refused. Yeah, we are seeking refuge only to be refused. But here is a source of ultimate refuge where there is no refusal at all, only a refuge granted. No matter how late we arrive, everybody is accepted, everybody is welcomed here. Every other state. That is what is called a Sharanagati. In our philosophy, it has been given the highest possible position as a method of finding ultimate and absolute release from all our ties of worldly bondage. But really, even before we start talking about Sharanagati and what it is and so on, first, why? Always the question that will come up for any endeavor, any human endeavor, is why should I do it? What is the reason for me to do it? Why should I be doing it? What am I going to achieve by doing it? What am I trying to gain or get by doing it? Any action, ultimately in spirituality, you're told that all action should be done selflessly, without expecting the fruits and so on. But that's the high ideal, that's a tall task. Generally speaking, everybody wants to know what's in it for me. Even before we begin doing anything, first we need to know, why should I do it? What's in it for me? Am I going to gain anything out of it? Can I be without it? If I can be without it, then why not take that path? Why should I actively choose to listen to this concept called Sharanagati, if at all practicing it? First listening to itself, no, why? आहार निद्रा भयमैथुनानि सामान्यमेतत् पशुभिर्नराणां ज्ञानं हि तेषाम् अधिको विशेषतः ज्ञानेन शून्यः पशुभिः समानः. There is a subhashita. The meaning of this is that ahara, food, nidra, sleep, bhaya, fear, maithuna, reproduction. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. These four are common both to animals as well as human beings. They also need food, we also need food. They also sleep, we also require sleep. They are also afraid, we are also afraid. They also propagate their species, we are also propagating our species. There is a commonality for all animals and humans. So if we look at only these four aspects, we are all only animals. We may say, no, we do a lot more than animals do. We have a society. Some animals live in societies. A very finely structured society where there is no disobedience also. There is no need of police or prisons or courts or any such thing, because their society is so well ordered that there is no crime whatsoever. Insects, which we do not consider as any importance at all, live in perfectly ordered societies. Ants and bees and termites, we cannot match their societies that they live in. It's a form of civilization. We have, we've constructed cities, we've constructed buildings. Even ants and termites can do it. Bees can construct hives. Birds can construct nests that are enviable in their design. Anything that we can do, they do it almost instinctually. They don't even have to apply, they don't have to go to a school to learn. That is the greatness of the animals. Yeah? The ants get together and make an anthill. And if you go inside, there are perfectly ordered tunnels and so on and so forth. Rabbits create burrows. Moles create their own. All kinds of creatures somehow manage to create fantastic layouts. And they don't even need Google Maps to navigate. Yeah? It's all convoluted tunnels, but they don't need any Google Maps or GPS systems. They are able to go. In every way, they are in fact better than us. Technology, they don't need technology. We may say we are so great in technology. That is because we can't do without it. They are able to do without technology. They're able to manage. Elephants can communicate over such long distances. And we can't even hear the sound. The elephants can communicate, for instance, at certain decibels that we cannot hear, but across long distances they can communicate. Even before we invented cell phone, they had invented it. Trunk call. Literally, it was a trunk call. In those days, there was something called trunk call. The younger generation may not even understand what it is. In India, if you had to make a call that was not local within the same suburbs or within the city, then we had to book a trunk call. So you had to call the operator, tell them the number, and say, please connect me to this number, which is a outstation number, out of town number. You won't get it immediately. They will say, all right. So they have got a whole queue of things. There are a few operators that are doing it, few lines that they have to do it. So when your turn comes, they will call you. So you will sit there waiting for the trunk call to be booked, sitting without moving away from the phone. You never know when the operator will call. If you miss it, then they won't call you back again. And then you'll grab it and then say, please hold on, we will connect you. And half the time the connection will drop. There's no guarantee that the connection will go through. Finally, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Most of our calls used to be, and you're metered for these calls, you have to pay per 30 seconds or per minute or whatever. And most of the time we'll going in, hello, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, hello, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now. And then, can you hear me? No, I can't hear you anymore. This is the extent of our technology. This is the extent of our progress and achievement and so on. Elephants were able to do trunk calls without all of these things. Bees were able to tell where food was located by simply dancing in front of the hives. Yeah, haven't we studied all these things? They can tell the position of the sun and make a dance. The dancer bee dances, and all the other interpreting bees will look at the dance and interpret the dance to find out with respect to the sun where the flowers are that they have to go and get honey from, nectar from. How can you explain such technology? Migratory birds can travel across continents perfectly without losing their way. They will go and reach. They do not need any maps, and they've been doing it for millennia. In what way are we as human beings any better than animals? We have the same 4 fundamental requirements as they have. Nothing beyond it. Nothing actually beyond it. Everything else is things that you can do without also. You can survive without it. We learned how to survive without a lot of things over the last couple of years when everybody had to be locked down. So in what way are we as human beings any better? There is one distinguishing mark, distinguishing characteristic that we have. Jnanam hi tesham adhiko visheshataha. Jnana, wisdom, is what delineates, differentiates, sets us aside and apart from all kinds of animals. What wisdom? What kind of wisdom is this wisdom? The wisdom to recognize trouble and to want to get out of trouble. Don't animals do it? Animals do it instinctively. They will go back to the same watering hole where the lion was waiting. They will not know any better. They will go back to the same place. The predators will chase the prey in the exact same way without making any much alteration. No matter what trouble comes, they will do the same thing. Repeated patterns is what characterizes animals. Animalistic behavior, repeated patterns. The same old rut is what they go in. They cannot innovate. They do all of this. They do all of this technology that we spoke about, but all of that is also simply instinctual. There is no innovation because there is no problem recognition. There is no deep-seated problem recognition the way we can do it. If we do that, then we are certainly better off than animals. Otherwise, we are only animals in human form, human skin. But what is this problem that we have to recognize? The first is we have to first recognize the problem. If we don't even recognize the problem, where are we going to go and search solution to the problem? Where is the problem? தமிழ்ல ஒரு வசனம் சொல்லுவோம், சும்மா இருந்த சங்க ஊதி கெடுத்தான் நான். Most people are living happily thinking there is no problem. What problem are you talking about? Why are you unnecessarily creating problem for us? Yeah. Many years ago, in the north of India, a Mahatma was doing a pravachan in Vrindavan. Bhagavatam. He was doing a pravachan on Bhagavatam. He was talking about all the problems that are there that we face. Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasva maam. There is a verse in the Gita. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says in this verse, he says this world is temporary, transient, fleeting, ephemeral. Imam prapya, you have attained this world. It is filled with sorrow, but having attained this world, you seek me. I will liberate you, I will get you out of the sorrow. Bhagavan says. So in order to explain something of this kind of a concept, this particular Mahatma went on talking about listing all the various difficulties that are commonly faced by man. There was a wealthy merchant. He was in the prime of his youth, health, wealth, everything, all the boxes were ticked for him. So he was also listening, and he felt that this Mahatma was like a minor prophet of doom. Because all he was going on was about how bad everything is, how terrible everything is, and so on and so forth. So he couldn't wait. And at the end of the pravachan, he came to the Mahatma and he said, why do you hark on this in a negative way? Life is quite good. My life is very good. What do you mean my life is good? No, I have a good wife, I have a good life, I have good bank balance, my children are good, my health is good, everything is good around me. So this Mahatma had only one thing to say. He said, oh, just wait. Oh, just wait. Why just wait now? Your turn will come. All it means is your turn hasn't come. You've taken the number and you're waiting in line, you'll be called. Don't worry. He said, what are you cursing me for like this? Why are you cursing me? It's not a curse. It is not a curse. Open your eyes and look around and you will see what is the problem. புல்லாகி பூடாய் புழுவாய் மரமாகி பல்விருகமாகி பறவையாய் பாம்பாகி கல்லாய் மனிதராய் பேயாய் கணங்களாய் வல் அசுரராகி முனிவராய் தேவராய் செல்லா நின்ற இத்தாவர ஜங்கமத்துள் எல்லா பிறப்பும் பிறந்திழைத்தேன் எம்பெருமான். A verse that comes from Manikavachakar Shiva Purana. Manikavachakar says in this verse, Manikavachakar is a very well-known Tamil Shaivite saint. Most of you will be intimately aware of him. If you've attended a number of funerals, you will know him very well. But in this particular verse, what he says is, oh Lord, I lost weight. He's talking about a weight loss package. Very weight loss that works wonders. A lot of people are trying to lose weight. But he gives a very beautiful weight loss procedure. What is it? The word he uses specifically is ilaithen. Ilaithen generally in common usage it means I lost weight, I became thin. And in this context he's saying I am exhausted, I'm fatigued, I'm tired. That is the context. But if you slightly take it out of this context and simply look at the literal meaning, it means I lost weight. How did he lose weight? He says, I was first born as a blade of grass. And as I was waving around like a blade of grass, I saw a worm that came and ate me. So then as I was being eaten up by the worm, I thought this worm is so much more powerful than me. So in the next birth, I was born a worm. And once as a worm, I was climbing up a tree. The tree was so big. And as I was climbing, my life was finished. In the climbing itself, my life was finished. And I looked at the tree and said, this tree is so vast. So the next birth, I was born as a tree. Elephants came and casually pushed the tree away. Some animals were able to make holes in the tree and so on and so forth. I thought they were more powerful. So next birth I was born as those. I was born as an animal. But when I was born as an animal, I found birds were flying in the sky and I thought how free they are, they can fly, whereas I cannot fly. Therefore I was born as a bird. As a bird I was eaten by a snake. So I thought the snake is more powerful, I was born as a snake. A man took a stone and killed the snake with it. So I thought the stone is more powerful than the snake. The next birth I was born as a stone. But there was a man who took the stone and started chiseling it to make a statue out of it. I thought men were more powerful, therefore I was born as a human being, since that was my last desire, to be born as a man, so I was born as a man. But as a man, I happened to go past a graveyard and I was frightened out of my wits seeing a ghost. I thought ghosts are far more powerful than me. All my life I was terrified of ghosts, therefore I was born as a ghost. I was born as one ghost, but there are hosts of ghosts in ganas. The word that they used to explain a ganam, a host in the host of celestials, the host of devas, host. From a ghost I became a host. From a host I became a demon. From a demon I became a sage. From a sage I became a deva, a celestial. And going through all these different kinds of births, I lost weight, oh Lord. I became emaciated. Why lose weight? Because you may be 180 kilograms. But if you die and you're reborn, you'll be probably 3.2 kilograms. Rapid weight loss. Can you see a greater weight loss than this? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. What is the best weight loss procedure? Instantaneous weight loss. You die here, you're born there. Instant 180 kilos to 3.2 kilos, 3 kilos. Big success story. What is the problem? This is the problem. In this verse, Pullahi, Pudai, Pujuvai, Maramaya. Chumma, I extrapolated, but if you look at it, each next birth has a logical sequence in it. Chumma random alla. Pullahi, Pudai, Pujuvai, Maramai, Valvirugamahi, Paravayai, Pambahi, Kallai, Manidharai. But each one seems to have one step higher. Therefore, it is almost as though this creature, right at the last moment, looking at a more powerful creature, desired to be born as that, and therefore was reborn as that, and kept going in this cycle. But what is the story here? No matter how many births you take, there is somebody else that you seem to envy. Yeah? Somebody is better than us. Somebody is wealthier than us. Somebody is more intelligent than us. Somebody is more famous than us. Oh, I wish I could be like that. But what is happening? No matter what I have, I'm empty. This really, births is not the problem. Having repeated births is not the problem that I'm talking about here. What is the problem? That sense of emptiness, that sense of not feeling accomplished enough. Which is why we want to do something else. We want to become someone else. We are on the move. We are not able to rest peacefully. There's an urge that makes us do again and again and again. Karma vasana, we call this. This is not a good thing. This is a bad thing. Should we keep doing things? As I generally say, we are called human beings for a reason. Otherwise, we would be called human doings. We are not human doings, we are human beings. What does that mean? To do is not the purpose of life. To be is the purpose of life. To be what? To be what? Not to be peaceful is the purpose of life. To be at rest is the purpose of life. Why do people work? People, and even as a child you go to school and you study. We are almost doing it automated. We don't even think about why. Why are we going to school? Why are we studying? Everybody is studying, so I'm also studying. My parents told me to study, so I'm studying. I need to get a good job, so I'm studying. Your pattern is there. But if you keep on asking this question, this story is narrated of of an Indian man during the British rule. So this Indian man during the British rule was happily sleeping one afternoon under a tree. A Britisher happened to go past, a government official happened to go past, and he saw this man happily sleeping, whiling away his time, sleeping under the tree. He was very irritated. He thought, what kind of work ethic is this? This is the time when everybody should be working, and this fellow is happily having his siesta. So he woke him up. He said, get up, you lazy fellow. You are the reason why your country is in this state, why we were able to conquer your country. This fellow was a bit surprised. I single-handedly am responsible for Britain conquering India. It's a bit too much. So he said, what do you mean? What are you doing? Why are you sleeping? He said, what should I be doing? I felt sleepy, I'm sleeping. What should I be doing? He said, you should be working. He said, why should I be working? You can get money. Why should I get money? So that you have enough wealth, you have got all your needs met, so that you don't have to while away in poverty. So you can live a comfortable life. And what will happen after living a comfortable life? So you can go to sleep comfortably. Is that not what I was doing already? Did you wake me up to tell me this? I was already sleeping well. So you woke me up to say, go do all of this so that you can go back to sleep. I am already sleeping. State of rest is what we are actually seeking. That is why we are working. Why are you working? You are working so that you may retire. So that you can retire. Not to simply become tired. I became tired. I don't want to become tired. I want to become retired. Retired doesn't mean becoming tired again. Yeah. Commencing, recommencing, starting it again. Retiring, to withdraw. The actual meaning is to withdraw. Let us retire. Let's retire to the other room. Let's withdraw to the other room. The meaning of the word retiring is to withdraw. Withdraw from what? Withdraw from this hustle and bustle, this need to do. Every person who's working is actively looking to the date they can retire. Young people are saying we want to retire early. Yeah, because somebody is dictating, somebody is telling us you got to go to work at this time. If you are late, you got to tell them why you are late. If you want to take some time off to come to the satsang, you have to tell them why you want the time off. You're not free. So I'm not free. So what does retirement mean? Becoming free. But the retirement that we are after is the retirement that comes after many years of hard work, and finally, I can now retire. By the time we retire, here's the problem. By the time we retire, we are actually very tired. And then the body starts to show all of its organs. Yeah. What does that mean? We never knew such organs existed in the body until they start to announce their presence. Who knew all these things are there? Yeah, who has ever seen their spleen? Tell me. A spleen, gallbladder. Who has seen gallbladder? But then if it causes a problem, then you will see it. The doctor will take it out and say, this is your gallbladder. We have now removed it. So by the time we are able to retire in the worldly sense, we become so tired that there is actually no energy left to do anything. This is our cycle. This is our life. This is how we are leading our lives. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shaya. Iha samsare bahudustare, kripaya pare pahi murare. Adi Shankaracharya in his Vajagovindam says, O Bhagavan, O most compassionate one, please out of kripa, please emancipate me, redeem me from this uninterrupted cycle of being born and dying and being born again and dying again. Dustara work. It is a very difficult to cross cycle. Unless you step in, it cannot be broken. Therefore, kindly help me. There is a call for, a plea for help. So what is our problem? This is our problem. Animals will not be able to recognize this problem. Only we can recognize this problem. An animal will not be able to know that I am being born again and again and again. Nor will the animal be able to know about the difficulties that it is encountering and do something about it. Yeah, there's a cow. The cow has some difficulties. What can the cow do? What can the cow do? The cow has a pain. The cow has a sore. What can the cow do? It cannot do anything. We, on the other hand, can do something. The difference that we have got is we actively try to solve the problems that come to us, provided we recognize those problems. If you do not recognize the problems, then we cannot attempt to solve them. So what is very important, if you recognize them, then the human characteristic is to immediately try and attempt to solve that problem, no matter what the problem is. That is why in the Gita and the Shastras, Bhagavan and all the Mahatmas are constantly reminding us and telling us you are actually living in a very dangerous situation. You are actually living in a very precarious plight. You are not really happy, even though you are trying to fool yourself that you are happy. Because the happiness that you have, even if it is real, it is very short-lived. There are people that do not even accept and agree that it is real. But even if it is real, it is short-lived. Isn't it? No matter how old you are or how young you are, you tell me, after looking at your life, have you had a joy that was long-lived? It's always been there. Never. No such thing. Say you enjoyed school very much and love school. Okay. Can you keep on studying in school? You have to leave school and go to college, no? At some point in time, you have to leave school and go to university. Oh, I love university now. After some time, you have to start getting to work. You can't be an eternal student, no? I love my job. I'll keep working in it now. They will themselves retire you. I love my family. Something is wrong with you. My family gives me immense joy. Something must be wrong with you. Yeah, because family gives joy. People give joy. But along with joy, they also give a lot of other things. Yeah. Undiluted joy. Artidaihi. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Gopikas have a term for family. It's a very unique term that I have not seen anywhere else. The Gopikas use this term. When Krishna tells them, why have you come here to me? Go back to your families. He tells them, Pratiyata tato grihana. But these Gopikas say, why should we go back to those Arti Daihi? Who are they? They are the givers of trouble. Arti Dhatana, givers of trouble. They will give trouble. Everywhere, some kind of a incompleteness can be seen if you have the vision to look at it and see it. We let our optimism sometimes blind us. We are very selective in what we see. Have you ever gone on a holiday? A long time ago, many years may have passed. And if somebody asks, oh, those good old days, they were fun days when we went on that vacation. Remember, it was so nice. I mean, you say. But what was the actual reality? What was the ground reality? The flight was overcrowded. The food that you ordered actually did not come. They said, oh, did you order vegetarian? Sorry, we don't have any records. We'll give you fruits. Again, they brought you fruits. When you landed, your luggage was misplaced. When you finally went to the hotel, it was nothing like what was on the website. And then finally, after your first meal, the rest of the time you were in the room, shuttling between the bed and the bathroom. And then it was time to come back. Now, one day you went out, you enjoyed everything. You saw the beach, you saw the waves, you saw the surf, you saw the local color and thing, and you came back. But after many years, if you're asked about that particular event, what would you say? Oh, it was such a wonderful time. Isn't it? The human brain, it is a survival mechanism for the human brain. It simply glosses over all difficulties. It actually glosses over all difficulties. Otherwise, will women choose to have a second child? Tell me. The first child, okay, you didn't know what you were getting into. By the time you gave birth to that child, and by the time you fed that child and bathed that child and diapered it and brought it up, interpreting every single cry. Middle of the night, why? What is happening? Why is the child crying? We do not know. Is the diaper wet? No, diaper is all right. Is the stomach hungry? No, we just fed. Then why is it crying? Is it fever? No, we do not know. No, nights are spent like this. But then what does the mind do? It forgets all the disadvantages, only looks at, oh, my child, I wish I could have another one. Isn't it? Your example, you will never remarry. There are people who remarry. Why remarry? Because it didn't work out well. Right? So what are you going to do? I'm going to make the same mistake again. Why? In the hope it might work out this time. So what are we essentially doing? Think about it. Our brain somehow irons out, smooths everything out, presents a very glossy finish, and it smooths out all the wrinkles that are there. Like it applies a lot of makeup. It hides all the wrinkles, the dark spots, the blemishes, everything is hidden. And only a fine thing is seen, shown, remembered. That is why we want to go back to it again and again. This is where I said there is a difference. What is it, Brina? Unless the Shastras point it out to us, unless the holy ones come and tell us that your life is not actually all as rosy as you think it is, our brain will only process it in such a way that we'll only see the good in it. But if you actually consider it, the disadvantages outweigh whatever little advantages we may have out of life. Which is why all the great ones have loudly proclaimed and cried out to the Lord, no more, I do not want any more births. After this, let this be the last one. Emancipate me. Yes or no? I can never forget how, one of the, in Brisbane, there's a Indian family. And this particular Indian person has an Australian friend. So in a conversation, they were talking about this whole philosophy of rebirth. Because the other person was born and brought up a Christian, so he has no concept of being born again. The only being born again is born again Christians, no other born again. So then this concept was unique and new to him. So you mean to say I'll be born again after I die? He said, yeah, well, that's what we believe, that based on your karma, you'll be born again. And that man was so happy. He shook his hands and said, thank you very much. You brought me great news. That means this is not the end of it. I can come back again. I can come back again. Thank you so much. You're giving me hope. What is the hope now? It's only what? iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What is the iPhone, current iPhone? 14. 14. If I die and then they come with 28, I'll be missing it out. So if I'm born again, I can have iPhone 28 in the next birth. Now this, what is it? What is the brain doing? The brain is only looking at as though all the positives alone will come. Then this gentleman said to him, hang on a minute, but there's no guarantee that you'll be born again in Brisbane with access to an Apple store. There's no guarantee that you will even be born a human. You may be born a worm in an apple. Perhaps you can still have access to an apple. You'll be a small worm burrowing your way into the apple. The apple would half eaten. That apple has got a small little thing taken. So you'll be like a little worm that is eating into that little half. Where's the guarantee that the next birth will be as good as what we have had currently, even if you gloss over all your difficulties? Actually, there is nothing good about your life. But even if you do, even if you're so optimistic and you only take the good things to account, where is the proof, where is the guarantee that the next one will be just as good, if not better? Are there not people living in Somalia, for instance? Are there not people living in war-torn areas? Are there not people caught in earthquakes and so on, floods and so on? Can they envy their lives? Can they say, oh, we have a good life? If you look at it, I think if you consolidate all the accounts, you will end up not with a credit but only with a debit, only with a liability. So who are the wise ones? Jnanam hi tesham adhiko visheshataha, I said. Jnana is the distinguishing mark of the human that separates him from the animal. What is this jnana? This jnana is to be able to see this problem where there actually is a problem. If we are blinded to this problem, we do not even see this problem, how are we ever going to attempt to try and solve it? The good thing we have is, if you know the problem, you cannot sit still, you will want to solve it. That is our good characteristic, but we should know the problem. So first, we have got to problem identification. Here's the problem. We are living lives which is actually not as rosy as we would like to believe it is. On the other hand, it is quite a raw deal. It's not easy. There's ill health, there's disease, there's bereavement, there's death, there's financial reversals, job losses, natural disasters, wars, diseases, everything going around us. In the midst of it all, somehow we are managing with a lot of fear, bhayam. How long can we remain content with this kind of life? How long can we say, it's all right, chalega, I can make do, I'll manage? How long can we do that? How long can we do? And there's a beautiful Hindi term, jugaad. Have you heard of the Hindi term jugaad? Jugaad means quick makeshift arrangement, band-aid solutions. Most of India works on band-aid solutions only, jugaad. If something goes wrong, what they do? They'll quickly do something and make it all right. Most of life goes on like that. All our lives are going on like that. We are somehow making band-aid solutions we are applying. He is wise who wants to find a permanent and a real solution to this and is not satisfied with these mere band-aid solutions. That was mark of wisdom. So what is that wisdom? That wisdom that tells me this is no good. If I can have a better life, what is the better life? A life of Shanti. What do we want? We may say, okay, what is this better life? More money. The people with more money are not necessarily happy. You don't have to look at wealthy millionaires to know whether they are happy or not. You take your own life. You take your own life. As a small child, what did you have? What belonged to you? Tell me. As a small child, what belonged to you? Nothing belonged to you. Everything belonged to your parents. Whatever they gave you, they gave. But you were happy then. In fact, you were at your happiest then. But as you started accumulating wealth, as you started growing up and getting more and more things that belonged to you, did it make you any happier than when you were a small child running around happily laughing for no reason? Just think about it. Just think about it. Do you know what is one of the signs of old age? Physical signs of old age? The corners of the mouth droop. The corners of the mouth droop. If you see young children or even youth, young children will have a little upwards thing. Youth will at least have a straight line. But as you grow older, automatically the corners of the mouth will droop like this. If you don't believe me, have a look at yourself in the mirror. And then compare it with a photograph of yours that has been taken years ago. Have a look at it. You will find that the sign of age is slowly the drooping of the corners of the mouth. Now, when the corners of the mouth droop, what kind of a face is it? We have emojis, no? A smiley face and a crying face. If you are sad, immediately, how do you represent sadness? You will make the corners of the mouth droop. Yes or no? When you smile, the corners go up. It'll go up like this. On the other hand, smiley face. On the other hand, it's a crying face. So what's happening with age? We're getting a lot of things. We are accumulating property. We are accumulating a lot of things. A lot of things get accumulated. What get accumulated? Now, first we get engaged. Then we have marriage. Then we have mortgage. This is a sign of age. How do you know you're aging? Well, you'll get from young age. When you're young age, you'll become engaged. And then you'll have marriage. Then you'll have mortgage. That will be bondage. After that, only bandage. This is the progression of life. From age to age to, isn't it? Look at it. It's all age, then. This is the aging process. And as we age, we are not happy. We've accumulated a lot of things now. In fact, that is why we are not happy. We have too many responsibilities. Therefore, we are not happy. In the Bhagavatam, we find a story. There's a king, Yadu Maharaja. The king is standing on his balcony, on his terrace, and he's had a hard, long day's work. He's solved the problems of the kingdom. He's coming there and standing and looking out at his people, and all the people that are walking around in their daily lives. And he's standing there and watching, and as he's watching, he's finding everybody carrying on with the same droopy face as he is carrying on. Everybody seems to have problems. And he was thinking, hang on a moment, I'm the king of this entire country. So I have a whole kingdom worth of problems sitting upon my head. So I am feeling stressed out at work. This fellow is only a laborer, he's also stressed out equally. That fellow is a school teacher, he's also stressed out equally. That fellow is only a gardener, he's also equally stressed out. Everybody seems to have the same kind of stress. So in a way, the king could understand, everybody is in the same plight. As he was thinking this, he saw a Avadhuta. An Avadhuta is a self-realized sage. He saw an Avadhuta. This Avadhuta did not even have a stitch of clothing on his body. He was happily walking, laughing. He went and sat under a tree with a big smile on his face and looking around. Everywhere he was looking around with a blissful smile upon his face. The king was intrigued. He said, I've been watching. Not one man went like this except this fellow. What is wrong with him? Yeah, because if he's smiling, if suppose, generally, if suppose somebody smiles without reason, what will you do? What will you do? If suppose somebody is crying, you may not know the reason, but you will assume a reason. Something must have happened, poor fellow. But if suppose somebody is in the train, public transport is the best example for it. You're going in the train, somebody else is going, somebody is sitting there sobbing into their handkerchief. What will you do? You will sympathize with them, you will pity them, you will empathize, whatever, all the thighs will be there. You will say something is wrong with them. Poor fellow, let us not disturb. Suppose one fellow is sitting there and just laughing, just smiling and laughing. What will you do? Better change our seats. Something is wrong with this fellow. The further away we go, the better. You will move away. Isn't it? This is what we will do. So the king had the same doubt. What is wrong with this man? So he went down. But there was something in his face. There was a charm upon his face. Even though he looked like a madcap, laughing without reason, there was a tejas, a radiance upon his face that told this king, who was a bit of an awoke king, It told him something. It said, this is not an ordinary man. I must go and delve into the reasons behind his joy. He went down from his palace, sought out this Avaduta, and went to him and said, why are you laughing? Tell me the reason why you are laughing. The Avaduta looked at him and said, why should you need a reason to be happy? Why should you need a reason to laugh? He asked. And that got this man thinking, got the king thinking, oh, hang on a moment, that is right. If I'm seeking a reason to be happy, then I'm already sad. If I'm seeking a reason to be happy, I am already sad. That is why I need a reason to make me happy, isn't it? Think about it. Just think logically about it. If I need a reason to smile, if I need a reason to be happy, that means I'm currently sad, not happy, and I need a reason to make me happy. So this Avaduta said, what a miserable existence yours is. That you need a valid reason, justified reason before you can even smile. Me, on the other hand, I don't need any reason to be happy. I am happy and I'm smiling. You may call me a madman, but to me, you are the madman. Because when you could be happy, you choose to be sad. Is that not a sign of madness? Think about it. I'm not saying you should from tomorrow. I mean, you could, if you want, sit in the public transport and just laugh. There are people who do it organizedly. If you do it in an organized fashion, then it's called laughter club. Then it's okay. The people get together. It's one of those therapies that they have come up with. They all get together and laugh. But it's infectious. Even when they really do not have a reason to laugh and they start simulating laughter, they end up actually laughing. What does it mean? We don't need a reason to be happy. On the other hand, we need reasons to be sad. Without reason, you won't be sad. But without reason, you can afford to be happy. That itself is a change in our mindset that we need to inculcate. But on the other hand, droopy mouths, sad faces, forgotten how to smile. We've forgotten how to laugh. We've forgotten how to enjoy the inner bliss that we already are sitting upon. That inner bliss we knew when we were small children. We didn't need a big reason to be happy. Little small children, have you seen little toddlers? They will pick up something from here, go and throw it there and laugh. We will use our logical brain and think, what is this childishness? Why would you have to laugh just because you went and took this stuff and put it there? What is there to laugh? We will say. What is there to laugh in? We will say. But the Mahatmas and the Jnanis look at our lives and say, what is there to laugh in your life? No wonder you're sad. No wonder you're sad. Because there's nothing worth laughing about. All you're doing is picking this from here and that from, move this from here and this from there. This is our life. If we remain content with this, then there is no hope for us. An awakening must come. How should this awakening come? There are many ways by which it comes. Sometimes it comes through trouble. Sometimes it comes through reversals in life. After repeated reversals, you will ultimately say, enough, enough, enough. I do not want it anymore. Okay. Unless you've had repeated reversals, you will not say that. That is why God gives trouble sometimes. Somebody went to Ramana Maharshi and asked him, why did God create sorrow in this world? He said, I do not believe God is a good creator. Because if we believe that He created this world, He could have created it any way He wants. He could have just made the whole of life an amusement park. Why did He make it such a terrible plight for us? Okay. Why did He create so much sorrow? When the question was asked. Bhagavan replied, so that you may ask this question. So that you may turn towards the truth. Otherwise, if all life were only an amusement park, you will never turn towards the truth. You'll be busy going up and down in these roller coaster rides. Screaming sometimes as it comes down and being happy sometimes when things go right and holding on to dear life when you're going downhill. The mark of wisdom is to look about us, around us, and learn from the mistakes and the experiences of others, not necessarily having to go through everything by my own self. If a man's walked on a road and he has found thorns there and he's sitting there having his entire feet punctured by thorns, pulling them out, and another passerby comes, stop, do not come hereby. There are thorns here. Do not come. So what would a clever fellow say? Oh, thank you very much for showing me the way. I will take a detour. I can clearly see that you have been punctured by those thorns and you're sitting there and removing. That's all right. Thank you very much. And he will take her. He'll not go that way. What will the fool do? Why should I believe you? What thorns? Why should I believe you? No, I'll go through it. And then he will sit by his side and he also start pulling thorns out. That difference. What are the Shastras? What are the scriptures? What are the words of the wise ones? They are the indications. They have gone through this. Manikavachakar, or example. See, Manikavachakar, this is an example. What does he say? Pulla, Kipuda, Ipuluva, Imarama. He is listing out, I went through all this. Why is he telling it? Why do we study it? Why do we read it? We are trying to learn from his life. He's made that mistake. Let us also not make the mistake. In fact, he is telling us so that we do not make that mistake. We will read it and make the mistake. What is the point? Jnanam. Jnanam is to learn from the misery around us. Jara marana dukkha doshanu darshanam. We can see with our own eyes jara, old age, maranam, death, dukkha, sorrow. These are all doshas, these are all the faults, they are there. What should we? Don't have to be afraid of all of it. Oh, I'm going to get old, I'm going to have disease. No, don't be afraid. Anyway, it will come, so don't be afraid. You don't have to start worrying now itself. Then what? Awaken and say, okay, this time around, I cannot do anything. I've already bought the ticket. I'm already on the journey. Even if I want to, I can't get off. But at least I should not make this mistake again and I should not come back again. This we can wake up. To this we can wake up. This we need to wake up. And when should we wake up? When should we wake up? As early as you can, you should wake up. Isn't it? Is it necessary? Is it enough if you wake up in the twilight of your years? With one foot in the grave and you realize, oh, before the other foot comes, can I do something to liberate myself? It's too late. Start early. Start when you are a child. Start when you are youths. Because this is the reality. Watch. Look at the reality of your parents. Look at the reality of your grandparents. Look at the reality of your entire lineage of ancestors. They've all gone through the same misery. So what should you do? While living your lives, awaken. Wake up and try and find a solution to this problem. And that is where, this is the juncture where we come in and say, first, here's the problem. Now let's find a solution to this problem. What is the problem? The problem is this repeated cycle of birth and death. Inevitable cycle of birth and death. None of us here, luckily, need proof that this cycle exists. Yeah, otherwise, there are people that ask for proof. Where is the proof? I don't remember my past birth. Yeah. How will I know I'll be born again? Can I come and check with you if I'm born again? We can't, no? So where's the proof of birth and death? There was a bunch of Westerners who once came to Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu. They came to Mahaperiva. He was an extraordinary sage, a saint that lived in Kanchipuram in the last century. Many of us have seen him. Not somebody long ago. He was alive into the 90s, I think. 199 years he was, almost reaching 100 when he finally took Mahasamadhi. Revered by many as a walking, talking God, Kanchi Mahaperiva, Nadamadum Daivam Chalva. This Westerner came to Mahaperiva with devotion, not with skepticism or anything. He came with devotion and he said, I'm finding it difficult to understand this concept of rebirth, reincarnation that the philosophy, Hindu philosophy speaks about. Can you help me understand it? I mean, he asked. So when the real seekers come, no, Teachers are always interested. So in a journal, he said, okay, do you have a car? Do you have a car at your disposal? He said, yes, I have a car at my disposal. Then do one thing. Go this whole day, go to the various hospitals in Kanchipuram that have maternity wards and take details of the people that were born, the children that were born today. What child? How was it born? How is his general health and well-being? Some details about the parents. Collect this information and come. So this person went around. In India, in Kanchipuram, there is no privacy law. So you go, you walk in and say who is born, they will give you all the details. Especially in India, if you are a foreigner, they will tell you everything. Please come, have a cup of coffee, we will tell you all the health records of everybody. So this man went without any difficulty, he collected all the information, came back in the evening. And he was presenting all the findings to Mahaparivar. He said, this is what I found. So he said, so what do you see in this? So many children were born. Were all born equally? No, some were natural delivery, some were cesarean section, some were emergencies. Were all born healthy? No, some were born struggling, some had to immediately be taken into incubator, some had to be ventilated, all kinds of. Some were healthy. How about the parents? Some were wealthy parents, some were very poor parents, managing to make do with their children, and so on and so forth. But then Mahapariva asked a question. So many children were born just on one day in just this one city. Why so much discrepancy? Can you explain it? Why was one child born in a wealthy family and one child born in a poor family? Why was one child born absolutely healthy, another born with some congenital defect? Can you explain it? Cannot explain it. How can you explain it? Is it just the luck of the draw? Apo he said, that is your karma. That is where your karma theory comes in. Because of the past karma, they have got to go through this now. So where did that past karma come from? There must have been a birth in which they must have accumulated that karma to now pay it off. Apo, it is. Luckily, we don't need all these explanations. We believe that there is birth and rebirth. So this is the problem. What should we do? Put an end to it. How do we put an end to it? What are the ways and means by which we can put an end to it? There are only two ways. Either you find your own way or you get help from somebody. These are the only two ways in which you do it. One, you find your own way to get out of the problem, or you seek help. Isn't it? How do I find my own way? If you are remarkably intelligent, extremely talented, with a lot of what we call viveka, discrimination, the capacity to observe and learn. You don't need anybody, no teachers are required. Uddhava, in Bhagavatam, Uddhava, who is Krishna's Dhaita Sakha, a very close friend of Krishna, a close friend and devotee of Krishna, spent all his life with Krishna, was Krishna's minister, Krishna's confidant, Krishna's pal, Krishna's everything. Right at the end of Krishna Avataram, when Bhagavan is winding up his avatara, Uddhava went to Krishna and he said, Swami, you are leaving. I know you are leaving, but before you leave, tell me the truth. Teach me the truth so that I may attain the truth. Don't leave me like this in the lurch. I have depended upon you. He says. So Krishna says, Uddhava, really we don't need teachers. World itself is the teacher. All life is the teacher. You look around in this world, everything is teaching you the same truth. You can learn. That is when he talks about this Yadu and the Avaduta story that I mentioned to you. If we are that clever, this is a very double-edged statement I am going to make. If you are that clever, you won't be sitting here. You would have found your way. So it's a bit insulting to you. I know, for having come, you're being told you're not intelligent. Yeah, don't feel bad. It is because you have some intelligence that you chose to come. If you had absolutely no intelligence, you would not have come here. Yeah, you wouldn't have been bothered about it at all. So what we are talking about, those who are able to find their own way, they are 1 in a billion. What is the population of the earth? 7 billion or something. So there are probably about 7 people in this world today who may have found their own way. 7 out of 7 billion may have found their own way. Otherwise, all of us need help. Isn't it? Yes or no? Tell me. No matter how clever you are, doesn't somebody have to teach you ABCD? If you lived by somehow, I will learn ABCD on myself. By myself, I will learn. How will you learn? Somebody has to tell you this is A. You just see the letter A. How do you know it is A? What do you know it is? You don't know what it is. Somebody has said, this is called A. Oh, A. This is called B. No, okay, B. Is that much somebody has to teach us. Without somebody telling us, how can we ever learn anything on our own? Well, definitely. The second category, you either find your own way or get help from someone. Most of us, almost all of us, I dare say, are in that category. We need help. We need help. However, there's a standard rule in life. What is this rule? This, Uncle Arthur Hillcoat used to narrate a very funny story. There was a king. He was a very kind-hearted king. He loved his citizens, his people very much. And he wanted to emancipate them, make them all enlightened. And so what he did, he sent his ministers to all directions, all 4 directions, and he said to them, go and gather all the knowledge of this world, so that we can summarize all of that knowledge and give it out to our people, so that all of them may be awakened and enlightened. So the ministers went. The king is commanded, so they all went, and they came back with cartloads of books and texts and so on and so forth. And they piled everything in front of the king. There was a mountain of books. This is all the knowledge that we could collect from all the world. They kept it there. So the king said, this won't do. This won't do. One person cannot read all of this in their lifetime. And most of our people do not even know how to read. How are they ever going to get access to all of this knowledge? No, this will not do. I want the essence of all knowledge. Go out and get me the essence of all knowledge. Say all the ministers set out once again. And they all came back defeated. They said, no, you've got to study. There is no other way. But one minister alone came back. He didn't bring anything with him. It seemed as though he was walking empty-handed. He came back and he said, O king, I was lucky enough to meet a Mahatma, a holy soul. And this holy, noble soul gave me a small artifact. And in that artifact, he said, there is the truth condensed in it. He gave it. What is it? It was a small pin. It was a small pin. And on the head of that pin, something was inscribed in tiny letters. And so the king brought a huge, big magnifying glass to see what was written. And upon the head of that pin were written in tiny little letters, there is no free lunch. There is no free lunch. Don't think there'll be free dinner. There's no free dinner also. There is no free lunch. And that is the essence of all the teachings. What does that mean? If you want something, you can't just get it for free because you asked for it. Yeah, if that were the case, if I could get things for the asking, then I can just go to the bank and say, oh, please give me $10 million. Can I? I don't know if any of you used to watch this thing. There was a little TV show, an Australian TV show. It was called The Chasers' War on Everything. Have you seen The Chasers' War on Everything? I think it was on ABC. The Chasers team, they're still around. They're still doing their antics. Clever fellas. Really clever blighters they are. So this one particular episode was, I cannot forget this episode. It was very, very interesting. This was when there was a book called, what was that book? The Secret. Like what our topic today is. The Secret. You remember the book called The Secret? That was doing its rounds. Everything has its time for fame. Yeah? After that it fades away. You don't know where that book is. But Secret was, everybody was going on about the secret, the secret, the secret. And what was the thing about the secret? You intensely wish for something and it is yours. They say you can make positive things come to you. You attract positive wealth. You attract wealth to you. You attract opportunities. And these kind of things were there in that book. We're not debating the right and wrong of that. I'm just telling you what happened with the chasers. These people, they did a little performance. They walked in to a little discount clothing store. So right outside the store, when you go into the store, it's different. Right outside the store, there were T-shirts hanging on, those little contraptions. So then these two fellows went there, and then they made all the different dramatic effects. They kept looking at one particular T-shirt, and they kept doing this. They kept doing this, and then after some time, he walked, picked up that T-shirt, and started to walk away. So that poor shop owner, she comes running out and said, "Hey, stop! What are you doing?" It was all done. I don't know whether it was staged, but it was very live. She came back running in her accented English. She was trying to say, "What are you doing? Bring it back. Why are you taking it away without paying for it?" So these fellows then said, "Don't you know about the secret? Don't you know about the secret? If you instantly wish for something, it is yours. It will come to you. I have attracted this. This is mine. I'm going to walk away with it." She snatched it and said, "What is wrong with you? Get out of here." There is no free lunch nor free T-shirts. Without effort, you can't just materialize something out of nowhere. It's not going to come out of nowhere. Some kind of effort is required. So here, if I need someone's help, then what am I going to give in return to get that help from them? There's a price to pay, isn't it? There's no free lunch. Even to find the way on your own, you would still need skills. You still need the capacity. You will still need knowledge. Somebody has to give you that knowledge. There is no free lunch. To get help from somebody, you have to give them what they ask. Isn't it? You want medical help, you go to a doctor, you pay them something and you get help. You want to learn something, then you have got to pay appropriately to learn that. Everywhere there is a cost involved. Now what do we want? We want the solution to all the problems of the world. We want the solution to life. And it is not 42 or whatever the number may be. See, this time what happened? When I said trunk call, all of them laughed. When I said this one, all the youngsters are laughing because they understand the reference. All the others were just wondering, what is number 42? We only know about Kumar's at number 42. There is no free lunch. Effort. What they want, we have got to give them. That is where Sharanagati comes into the picture. Once, it was a holiday season, and a lot of visitors were coming to Ramanashramam to spend time with Bhagavan. And because Bhagavan was known for his jnana, for the shanti and everything, people came, they would sit there, they would prostrate to him, sit there in that silence for a while, and then they will make bold to announce their needs to him. What was their need? Some of the sadhakas, they would say, all we want is jnana, all we want is moksha, all we want is not to be born again. But then they put forth all of these. I want jnana, I want moksha, I do not want rebirth and liberation. Bhagavan kept quiet. They all went away. After some time, looking at the people who were there in the ashram, the inmates, he told them, everybody comes here and says, I want liberation, I want wisdom, I want jnana, and so on. But I tell them, give yourself to me, and then you can have this. But nobody is willing to give themselves to me. What can I do? Everybody comes and says, give me wisdom, give me liberation, give me moksha, give me jnana. I tell them, you give yourself to me. Nobody is willing to do that. Then how can they get their jnana? How can they attain their liberation? Bhagavan asks a question. For the asking, we cannot get it. Just for the asking, we cannot get it. Even if the person is capable of giving it to us, just because we ask doesn't mean we can get it. This is a fundamental law in this world, and we are all very familiar with that law. That's how our lives are operating. Isn't it? You want something, you give something. If you want the truth, you have to give something. If you want the truth, you have to give something. If you want liberation, you've got to give something. If you want joy, you have to give something. If you want peace, you have to give something. What should you give? Well, if you want freedom, you have to give up bondage. If you want happiness, you have to give up sorrow. If you want the truth, you have to give up the untruth. And Sharanagati, as we will discuss it over the next 3 sessions, is this giving up of that which is harmful to us. It is not giving up of something that is desirable to us. On the other hand, Sharanagati means the giving up of that which is undesirable to us, that which is harmful to us, that which is the source of our problem, our misery. That we will see in the next few sessions. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayam, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु।